Matthew chapter 5, verse 39 says, when they strike you on one cheek, turn the other cheek. And then John chapter 18, verse 23 says, one of the soldiers standing close to Jesus struck Jesus on the cheeks. And Jesus said, if I have done anything wrong, point it out. If not, why did you strike me? In other words, he didn't turn his other cheek. Funny enough, this verse, Matthew chapter 5, verse 39, got a lot of us as kids into problems because we had the belief that Jesus meant when he slapped you on one cheek, just turn the other cheek, right? It will shock you that still, as adults, a lot of us do not know how to really approach this verse or what it means. But the secret is always this. What Jesus says and what he does often interprets what he means, right? In the verse, Matthew chapter 5, verse 39, one of the underlying themes of the entire chapter is what? Is abandoning a law that was there before Jesus came. And it was called lex talionis, the law of revenge. A tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye, right? And Jesus was telling them, do not learn to seek revenge. Rather, learn to forgive. Even when it's ongoing, even when it keeps going on, learn to forgive. Forgive without limit. That is what Jesus meant by that. Number two, this was what we call a hyperbole. It's a figure of speech where you use an exaggeration in order to what? To explain a principle. Now let's go to John chapter 18, verse 23. You would ask, but when they struck him on the cheek, he questioned the man who struck him. That is to explain to you that seeking love and forgiveness of our enemies does not stop us from what? Questioning when we are what? Unjustly treated. It does not also stop us from what? From being able to defend ourselves against aggressors. When we say defend ourselves, it does not stop you from seeking safety. For instance, you can be in a marriage where you are being abused every day, and instead of seeking a way to separate in order to save your life, for the meantime, even the church allows this, you say Jesus says we should forgive endlessly. That is foolishness, right? So the next time you want to think about going the extra mile, as Jesus was explaining, don't think about it in a literal sense. It is good to forgive endlessly because this is what Jesus taught. But also, you are not stopped from seeking justice. Remember, at the end of the day, the God who is merciful is also the God who is just.